The King reads comments. Alrighty, guys and gals. Jesus, why is the music so loud? Crank it up, YouTube boy. Alrighty, guys and gals. Guess who it is? That's right, it's Big E. We are from the King's room here, and I'm going to be catching up on a few comments. I've been mostly replying by, the old school keyboard, typing with the fingers and all that. But I think it's time. Not too many. I don't think I have to catch up on. Also, I'm going to be answering some questions. I think for Mr. Dustin has some specific questions for me to answer. Looking forward to that. Why is everything screwed up here, man? Okay, let's get into it. Let's switch over to... No, this one. There we go. Right, going to start from the bottom here. This is just from 2 days ago. Let me make this a little bit bigger. Not smaller. How's that? That'll work. Hope you guys can see there. All right, we're starting off with Justin Dixon. What's going on, Dustin? Dustin, did I ask you what this profile picture is? What is that? I saw Jamie, hey, right above me. Jamie, how you doing? How do you, make this bigger? Jamie, I saw you do something where you hovered over somebody's profile picture and it got, bigger or something. I don't know how to do that. Every time I see this picture, Dustin, I think it's a hobbit, but I don't know what that is. Tell me what it is, brother. He says, this is on the Return to Moria, episode 53. To be fair, the new generation of musicians... try again. Let me slow down. I got some crazy energy just got back from the gym. To be fair, the newer generation of musicians, ones that came from my era, Taylor Swift is 1 year older than me, and is the most successful solo artist since Elvis Presley. Well, as far as numbers go, it's a completely different thing, though, Dustin. I understand what you're saying, but back when Elvis Presley didn't have social media, things like that, it's a whole lot different. But I understand where you're drawing the parallel there. Who I adore, Elvis is still the king by far. Elvis, pretty good, man. Swift, as far as I know, does not use autotune. She does on some of her songs. She's damn good and beautiful. $1 billion worth at the moment. Most successful solo artist of all time, but not to be confused with top selling, who is still Elvis Presley. Personally, I think it's good to like every genre, every era of music. When we sit back and hate on things like music, we may as well not like any of it. It's traditional phase music from era and generation to generation. I love seeing what's next. Yeah, I like complaining about music these days. Yeah, Dustin, I'm with you, man. But to be honest, I don't care how beautiful somebody is, or if the majority of people like them, or if she's worth $1 billion. It's not my kind of music. It's that style of music, which is driven by music corporations. There's a recipe and a formula to it to make the most money. If you look at the writing credits for Taylor Swift songs and other massive artists, there's 10, 15 people involved in just writing the song. It's a business these days. I mean, music has been a business since really the 50s, with Motown and things like that, with record companies really getting their hands around the artists' throats and things like that. But it's completely different these days. I'm not, I know Taylor Swift is massive. I know people love her, but I'm just not part of whatever's the most popular. I've mentioned this before on the channel, whether it's a movie, whether it's an artist, I'm probably not going to like it just because I don't know. I'm just older from a different generation. I don't like very glossy things, overproduced. It's just not my deal. But yeah, man. So nobody take offense if, because I don't like Taylor Swift. That's just my personal preference. But it doesn't, the more popular something is doesn't mean, in my opinion, that it's the best. Because honestly, I think the majority of people are just easily entertained, and I don't know. Now, anyway, Dustin, I hope you're doing better. I'm going to be answering your questions at the end of this. He gave me some specific questions. I skimmed through them. They look pretty interesting. Also from Dustin, he says, one other thing, Eminem is about 2 years younger than you. or so and is most listened to artist. Yeah, again, it doesn't affect me. As well as most records sold of this century behind Swift now. He was your generation. Actually, he was not my generation. Dustin, I'm maybe a little bit older than you think. Um, well, whenever you say it's somebody's generation, the music of your generation, in my opinion, is in your like mid late teens, maybe early 20s. So for me, that's going to be the mid 80s or so, mid 80s until about 90 when I turned 20 years old. So when was Eminem? Was he like early 90s or something? I wasn't into hip hop and rap and that kind of stuff at all. I was Metallica, bands like that, and I was still listening to Led Zeppelin, Pink Floyd, Fleetwood Mac, Steely Dan, shit like that. So because I feel like Eminem was like the 90s, man. So I was in my 20s through the 90s and it just wasn't for me. Also the oldies are still selling. Metallica's Black Album. I wouldn't see. So for me, that's not an old album. This is a difference between generation stuff. For me, if somebody says the oldies, I think of music from the 50s and 60s because I was a kid through the 70s. In the 70s, it was classic rock and roll pretty much, except towards the end of the 70s, disco started to come into the picture and all of that. But so Black Album for me, that came out in the 90s, right? So that I wouldn't say that's, an oldie, but I understand because that's before your time. That's older. That's how it works generally. It's still the best-selling album from a band since its release in 91. So in 1991, I was 21 years old, and I remember the album, and I got to be honest, I liked the Black Album. I liked it much more than I did Injustice for All. I wasn't a huge fan of Injustice for All. I like Ride the Lightning, Master of Puppets, Garage Days, Kill 'Em All. Like the early Metallica was really my favorite, but I did like that Black Album a lot. Music is in a great place. I disagree 100%. Just got to look for the good. We can dislike bands and artists, but never their success. Well, again, this is a difference between how you see things. I'm not saying it's easy to have success, but success to me, this goes hand in hand with something being more popular. It doesn't really matter to me. Like I said, I think people are music these days just seems to be background, just like this dancey pop. You don't go to see a concert anymore. You go to see a show. Everything's choreographed. Sometimes it's not even a band or the shit's pre-recorded. It's just different these days. And success is, in a lot of the music, I hate to say it, is targeted at such a much younger audience. But I mean, I can understand that as well. Music has no boundaries. It's limitless and continues to inspire. That's true. I mean, you've got AI involved in music now. But again, what's happening with AI in the music is music corporations have their hands in that, and they are making AI music, and they're just attributing false people who aren't real tied to them, so they don't have to pay royalties to anybody else so that they get pure profit on it. It's good to see the good in things, but it's good to keep it real and stay grounded and not, I think, get too caught up in stuff like this. But yeah, man, just not for me. Yeah, again, I'm not into hip hop, rap, country today, like this pop country, not into it. Taylor Swift, the poppy kind of stuff, man, I'm just not into it. But Dustin, I do ask you a question. It may already be out in the video, man. But I was saying, I don't really, because I don't listen to the radio or Taylor Swift or things like that. I was asking you, name a song by Taylor Swift that you think like sums her up as an artist. Seriously, just like leave a comment here. I'll listen to it because I like to have an open mind to music. I really do. But if I heard Taylor Swift, I wouldn't know it was her. The few things that I've heard, I just did not like. I saw, what's his name? Rick Beato break down a song of hers, and man, it just, I didn't like it. The lyrics were just wasn't for me. So let me know a Taylor Swift song again, just like your favorite Taylor Swift song or something you think for somebody who doesn't listen to maybe, like, oh, wow, this is good. Seriously, I'm genuinely interested, man. Hope you're doing well, Dustin. Never take anything I say personally, dude. I'm an old man. I just like different things. That's it. Mr. Shemmy, wow. How are you doing, my friend? Love you, brother. You could have gone to Grom Gull with the Zep from outside Orgrimmar and then start questing in STV. But yeah, STV can be a very dangerous place. This is on Iron Man. I think I was contemplating on going to Northern Stranglethorn to the rebel camp or the hunter's camp to pick up the quest, but I would have had to run a little bit. But yes, you are right. And I think I realized this in like an episode coming up or something. It's still a little bit dangerous. Even that little short run from Grom Gull, but it's much safer than running from Booty Bay up there for sure. Thanks, Jimmy. Appreciate you, man. This is from Daniel Cameron. How are you, Daniel? Not sure I've seen you before. If you're new, welcome to the Misty Mountain Gaming family. If you decide to choose to stay, this is on Return to Moria. Just trying to help when the orcs are talking about he's gone, she's here. Yes, I've been wondering what this was. They are talking about the Balrog being gone and she, the dragon, being there. Of course, soon as you said it, that makes sense now. I was thinking it was a reference to Sheila, the spider, that was in you don't see her in The Hobbit. I think you see her or she comes about in the Two Towers, I believe. But yeah, it makes perfect sense, man. Also, the only way to find enough mithril to make the spear you need is going to be the darkest deeps around the mithril forge. Just be careful. The dark down there will cause you despair, whether you have a light source or not. I've been enjoying your videos. Keep up the great work. Really appreciate the comment and the helpful tips. I think the video out today, I think I actually realized this when we go down there. And there's a video coming up, guys. I think it comes out tomorrow where I do a little, not a cutscene, but I add something to the beginning of the video because I got rid of a complete episode because I did something really stupid in this game and it dawned on me. So I spent like 2 episodes basically trying to find something that I already found. It was a lot of confusion, but I think tomorrow I kind of explain that. Daniel, I'm sorry. Thank you very much for that. I appreciate it. I really do. I'm glad you're enjoying the Let's Play. One of my favorite games. It's so fun. It really is. Trey LaPrey. What's going on, Trey? Aspiring car guy here. I really enjoy your car stories. Hey, thanks, man. I really appreciate that. Yeah, I've had so much trouble with the Camaro, and I'm still continuing to have trouble right now. And it's whatever's going on in my personal life, I just tend to share on the channel, and the car issues have been plaguing me for 2-3 years now. So it's something I continue to talk about. I'm glad you're enjoying that. Sometimes I feel like I talk about that crap way too much, and I try not to. I hope you're doing well, Trey. Thanks for the comment. Glenn, this is Gransfer on Iron Man Challenge, episode 50. At the 10-minute mark, being a very proud man myself, it took a very long time for me to open up with mental health issues. It made me feel like less of a person until I got into good community that understood what I was going through, and I got the right people around me instead of the testosterone heads I lived with around me being a collegiate athlete. Well, I understand that completely, man. The people you surround yourself with will make a big difference and put you in a better headspace. The more comfortable you feel being somewhere, the better you're going to feel overall, man. And mental health is something I obviously struggle with a great deal. My entire life since I was a kid. Glenn, I'm glad just things like this, just recognizing things about yourself and figuring out possible solutions and trying to put yourself into a better space is a huge, huge step into, we may never heal from traumas and things like that, but we can certainly get better and feel better and do better. So I appreciate that comment, Glenn. He says, I'm catching up. It's October 26th for me. All right. That's just yesterday, man. Good to hear. Glenn's got real life stuff going on. Yes, he does. He's got a family, all that good stuff, man. It's not easy to watch videos every single day. I recognize that. Mr. Tyler says, nice healing E. There's definitely a difficulty jump on those first couple northern dungeons. I really like Prayer of Mending, especially when you have a tank who likes to run off. Give him a bubble and a Prayer of Mending, and he gets to shield at least one heal, maybe more, while you drink. Absolutely. Good of you to recognize that. Yeah, I just recently got Prayer of Mending, and you are right. There was a massive spike in how squishy I was as a healer, but we are starting to pick up some new gear from these northern dungeons, and they are massive upgrades. So the first couple I ran, I was kind of panicky because the tank was like just taking so much damage, and I was just spamming heals into him, thinking this guy's really squishy. No, it was me. I had no northern gear yet, like a fresh level 70 heading into a dungeon with outland gear. It's not a good combination. Thank you, Tyler. And Glenn, Tyler, thank you both for being members of my channel. Look at this. Tyler has been a member for 15 months. That's actually more than that, E. 1 year, 5 months. That's incredible. 17 months. Jeez. Thank you so much for that. I really appreciate it. 3310, darn it, E. Now I have to go watch the Blues Brothers. Let's see what I was referring to here. Rawhide. Yeah, racers. Okay. I know what that is. This is something I do every single day. These content thieves over here, guys. Can you see what I'm pointing out right here? See these channels with like the lowercase bullshit? Right click, don't recommend the channel. I'm so sick of seeing. It's all there is, man. YouTube is like 3/4 of it. It's just content thieves. They're just these generic accounts, multiple accounts owned by one single person, just names their channel random stuff, and they just repost content from somebody else, and they get millions of views, man. I just go over every single day. I must hide 20, 30 or more of these type of channels every single day. If I want to look up something, I'll look up the original video. Anyway, let me get off on a tangent here. Yeah, if you guys have never seen the Blues Brothers, it's a pretty classic movie. It's quite a strange movie as well. It's pretty funny. John Belushi and Dan Aykroyd and a bunch of other great actors in it as well. 34-minute mark. Not sure if you saw it or not, but there was a huge update to Skylines 2 dealing with traffic and such. I did not see it, man. Not sure if that would fix what was driving you nuts, but it might be worth looking into. It absolutely might, because the AI, it's actually the reason I stopped playing City Skylines 2. I couldn't handle it. As somebody with a little perfectionist in them, maybe you call it ADHD, I don't know. I would just catch myself spending so much time trying to figure out why the traffic was acting the way it was, or why the pedestrian traffic footpathing was so terrible in the game. I'm gonna look into that, Glenn. I really appreciate it. Because I actually uninstalled City Skylines 2. I spent the money on it, but I wish I had not. But I'm glad to see that they are dealing with things, because gotta be honest, I know they've put out like a bunch of like detailing like basically more assets to use in the game, in a game that has a really hard time running at simulation speed the bigger the game gets. They're adding all of these things, and I was so pissed at the company, one, for releasing it in such a broken state, and then two, not really dealing quickly enough with the core updates and things and fixes that it needed. Instead, they were putting out a park patch or some other things, I don't know. I'm glad to hear that though, Glenn. Thanks for letting me know, man. 3630, you were always saying you want to challenge yourself to the max, so doing Iron Man on a PvP server dominated by the Option faction would do it, and would bring viewers in to see how far you could get. Yeah, I think I was talking about that. Like, that's like the ultimate Iron Man, right? Do a Warrior Iron Man challenge, PvP server, on a server that's dominated by the opposite faction. That's just death. You would get, obviously you could do your starting zone and then that first zone, but it's either the second or the third zone you get into. It's usually mixed. So your flag would cut on automatically. That'd be interesting for sure. 37. No offense, but I'm sure we'd all try to hunt you down. It would be a great game of cat and mouse. So I remember this. I was talking about if I created, if I was doing a hardcore challenge flagged for PvP, I know you bastards would come get me. 100% you would. Casa Tali, how are you doing, Kasi? I hope you're doing well. I like grinding for the Crimson Whelpling in wetlands around the mid-20s, early 30s. I didn't know that was a thing, man. So it drops from those, well, I'm assuming it drops from the Whelplings. I had no idea it did that. Is that in Classic as well? Kasi, thank you very much for being publicly subscribed to me for 5 months. I really appreciate that. Let me know, man, if that's a thing. That's cool. I've never had it drop before. As many times as I've done the wetlands. I wonder if this is retail or whatever. Lizard Soup, how are you? Not sure I've seen you before. Hope you're doing well. Welcome if you decide to stay. Says, which server are you on? So this is the Iron Man Challenge, episode 64. So Lizard, I started off on the hardcore server, Skull Rock, and the character died to a disconnect, which I didn't count because I had no control of it. I did the free transfer, free transfer, so I have transferred to Classic Era, and I'm on the RP server. I think it's called Bloodsail Buccaneers, my friend. Whatever, there's one RP server in Classic Era. That's the server I'm on. Pretty sure it's Bloodsail Buccaneers, brother. Thank you for the comment. I hope you're enjoying. And as I said, if you decide to stay, welcome to the Misty Mountain Gaming family. Monty, how are you, Monty? Publicly subscribed to me for 1 year. In the Classic, the Halloween masks are actually head slot item. So if you're hiding your helm, you won't be able to see the masks. Dude, you're right. I think I am hiding the helm. Am I? Yes, I think I am. Thank you for letting me know that, Monty. That makes a lot of sense. I was trying to put masks on, and I was like, this is bugged. Come on, Blizzard. I'm so stupid. Thank you, Monty. Appreciate that. Glenn, Iron Man Challenge, episode 52. At 55-minute mark, you were almost correct. It wasn't Thorin Oakenshield. It was one of his nephews that had the love affair connection with the elf, one of Thorin's sister's brats. Somebody else corrected me on this as well. I have a tendency to remember things incorrectly in movies. I appreciate that so much. As a matter of fact, they have the profile picture. If I can find it, I'll know it if I see it. I probably already answered them. Thank you, man. Thanks for letting me know. I was called out on that. Yes. Glenn says Peter Jackson made a lot of mistakes with The Hobbit, but casting Billy Connolly as Dane was without one of the best casting choices in cinematic history. If there ever was a real dwarf mentally, it has to be Billy. I didn't even know he was in that, man. I did not know that because of, all of the prosthetics and stuff that they put on the dwarves. Now I've got to go back and see that, man. I had no idea that he had done that. That is really cool. Billy Connolly is hilarious. This is Cry on Icy Blue. Sorry if I've screwed that up, man. I love the profile picture. Very relaxing to watch. Hey, thank you very much. I appreciate that. I really do. If you decide to stick around, I would like to welcome you to the Misty Mountain Gaming family. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Gaming Grandma, Teresa, how are you doing? It finally dawned on me that you changed your intro. You dropped the channel intro. Can you make the Durn's armor now? I did drop the intro because I felt like they were just too long. It was too much to get to the video. I used to use that for every video before I started doing a custom intro for each series that I do. So every series I have on the channel, I like to get a little creative and make an intro for it. But when I combine that with my old channel intro, it's like 2 minutes, And if somebody's watching the series, every day or following it, they're probably skipping ahead, right, to get to the actual Let's Play. But yeah, I think I dropped that there because I felt like it was too long. Same thing with City Skylines. I think I've dropped that intro as well. It works very well this time of year because it's like kind of spooky and it's a little bit horror themed there. Teresa, I hope you're doing well. I really do. David Nelson, 34-13 minute mark. I wonder if you were hiding your helm. Yep, It's exactly what's going on. You guys are on it. I remember specifically saying that this thing is bugged, like cussing at Blizzards. So stupid. Saved by grace. How are you, Tanya? You have done incredibly well. To put this in perspective, the average hardcore death is around 10. Holy moly, I didn't know that. And these people have gear and talents. Grats, well done. Only 30 more levels to go. You're halfway there. We have the most difficult road ahead of us. I am surprised I got to 30. I wasn't sure if I could do it on the mage, considering how squishy I am. 2 melee hits, not even kidding, half my health can be gone. It's pretty rough. Yes, it is. But thank you, Tanya. I appreciate that. I really do. I don't think we're going to get to 60 on this character, but I'm going to do my very best. I got to try not to stop taking chances like I've been doing. This is the master of hardcore right here, in my opinion. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. That's it. I am caught up here. Let's jump back to the King's Room. These are the questions I'm going to be reading, and I've got a couple of... where's the King's Room here? There we are. Yeah, I answered a few of them ahead of time. Looks like I answered all of them, so I wouldn't be fumbling around. So I'm going to be reading the questions. These are from Dustin Dixon. A couple weeks ago, I think, at least last week. I have 10 questions. This is based on a Q&A type of thing that I did. If you have questions for me, if you'd like me, if you're curious about anything, I love talking about myself, obviously. Feel free to ask me. Just leave a new comment on this video. If you have questions, I read every single comment. Now, occasionally I miss things, and this is something I've talked about many, many times on the channel. If you leave a comment and then I type a reply and you reply to that, for some reason, I very rarely see that. I don't know what the deal is there. But if you have questions, anything you'd like to know, please ask. And the next time I do a King Reads Comments, I'll answer them for you. Dustin asks, have you ever taken a bath with a duck or rubber duck? And then he says in parentheses, every other question is intended to be weird and or funny. With a rubber duck, I don't think I have, brother. I thought about that. I mean, maybe when I was a kid in the 70s, but I don't really remember very much. I don't think so. Interesting question. I definitely have not taken a bath with an actual duck. That's a big no. Question 2, what is your greatest love? Music, gaming, etc. So I had to think about this a little bit. My biggest love, the things I most enjoy in my life, I enjoy the gym quite a bit because it provides benefits for me that I don't get any other place. One, it forces me to leave my apartment. I'm somebody who has agoraphobia and severe social anxiety. So leaving my apartment here is very difficult for me to do. But because I have this obsession with the gym, I have since I was like 15 years old, really. If I do not go to the gym, I start getting mentally down and depressed, beating myself up and things like that. So it forces me to go. Second, it has a great health benefit, obviously. I'm in pretty damn good shape for 54 years old. I'm bench over 400 pounds. You know, I've got a lot of muscle on the body and it feels good. It makes me feel good. Above and beyond that physical benefit, it gives me a mental benefit that I've never gotten from any medicine or anything that I've ever been on. I don't take medication anymore, not for anxiety and things like that, because I do not like what I call toxifying my body, is how it feels to me. There's always these side effects that I don't like dealing with. So going to the gym every day, it really helps, right? You get the endorphins released. Physical exercise is great for your mental and physical health. So the gym is big, big in my life. Behind that, music is a huge part of my life. I've got a record player over here. I listen to music all the time. I have music I listen to when I'm in the gym, if I'm driving. Before I had this YouTube channel, and for a while I had the channel, I'm a computer programmer. I'm a programmer I fix code, things like that. I would just listen to music all day. I'd have Pandora on, like a type of genre that I like, and just listen all day while I'm programming. But lately, I did lose my job, and because of the channel takes up so much of my time, I don't listen to music as much as I used to, but huge part of my life. And other than that, obviously YouTubing, video gaming. It's not so much the games anymore. It's this whole process of being a YouTuber. Trying to be creative with my intros and having fun in the game. The narrating has helped me out so much in my personal life with my mental issues. It's a little bit sad sometimes, but it makes me feel like I have a connection to people, which I don't have in my real life, really. And because I have such a wonderful community here, like people like you, Dustin, who give me so much positive feedback. Everybody on the channel, my regular commenters, man, you guys have done so much for me. It's hard to even put into words. So being able to read these comments and then, either, on the keyboard with a reply or doing something like this helps me out so much. So Jim, music, and the YouTubing is really my whole entire life right now. And it's good. I also love reading. I've gotten back into reading books lately, and I really miss that. So at night when I go in there, I've got an iPad by the bed. I don't even pick it up. I put it in the drawer. I don't, because I'm so, stimulated in this YouTubing thing that I'm doing. When it's time to go to sleep or I get into bed, I love a book. I read until I get tired, put the bookmark in, turn the light off, and see if I can get some sleep. And it's just a much better way for me personally to wind down. But yeah, I think those are my biggest loves. That was a long answer. Sorry, man. Question number 3, do you have a favorite chair? So I literally have 2 places to sit in this apartment. I have 2 chairs. I'm sitting in one. This isn't like a gaming chair. This is a nice ergonomical office chair. Really nice. Well, it's really nice for me. I paid like $300 for it, which is expensive for me. I wouldn't recommend those gaming chairs, man. They look cool and all that. I mean, unless you're spending a lot of money on one, they do make like a decent chairs. But if you're buying a gaming chair, anything with gaming in the title is probably going to be cheap and wear out quickly. But I had one early on the channel. Dude, it was crap. It's just basically plywood with a little thin piece of foam and then this cheap like nylon or that faux leather, whatever it is over top of them. If you are somebody who sits in a chair all day long, it's worth spending the money and getting like an office style chair or something nice. And I do have a chair over there. It's a little blue low chair. I used to use it to read and stuff. I still do, but what I mainly use it for now is when I'm listening to my record player. I've got some headphones I plug in, and I just chill, sit in the chair, look at the album cover, and just get into the music. And that's something that's missing, I think, from a lot of music these days. People used to buy albums. I mean, that's come back a little bit, but it's not the same as it was before the internet. And all of this, man, the only connection you really had to a band or your favorite artist was the album. These albums, they would have artwork on them. Sometimes it would be all of the song lyrics. There'd be information. There'd be pictures. It was a whole thing. And that's completely gone, it seems, these days. Now it's replaced, by social media, and they show you exactly what they want you to see. It's just a little bit different, but I love that chair for that specific reason, to just chill out either with a book or just getting lost in the headphones on a record. It's really, really cool. But my favorite chair would be the one I'm sitting in. Do you like fish? Pets? Are you allowed to have them? If so, you should get some fish. Helps with the mood, and they're pretty. I agree. I am not allowed to have pets here where I live. If I could get a pet, I would get like a chill cat. I would adopt like an older cat. I love dogs. I love animals, but a dog needs to go outside. They're very social, and that's really not me. So cats are just kind of chill, but I'm not allowed to have them. I do have a very nice fish tank set up over here. It's a 20-gallon tank. I'll have to take some pictures of it and maybe post it on the community tab. And it is full of neocardinia shrimp. They're also called cherry shrimp, and snails. And there's a ton of them in there. It's a live tank. It's got live plants. It's got stone and rock and wood. It's got a really nice natural bedding underneath, like a substrate with rock on top. And the plants have seeded. I started off with a teeny tank like this, and that was last year. Yeah, like a year and a half ago, and I recently upgraded to a tank, which I already had the fish tank in the closet. I just never set it up, but I finally switched everything over. It's got a nice light for the plants. Very, very cool. Yeah, and I'll sit and watch them. I feed them every other day or so with these little pellets that they love. But I also use these things called, they're Indian almond leaves, very large leaves from an actual tree. And you just put them in the water, and they help. They make the water very habitable for the shrimp and the snails. It also acts as a food source, and it slowly breaks down. They love it. I enjoy it quite a bit, man. Question number 5. What spanks worse, a belt or a WoW hardcore death? I've got experience with both, unfortunately. I've got a lot of trauma around belt buckles. So I'm going to say the belt buckle for sure. It should never be used on a kid. I used to get it all the time. In fact, I've got scar tissue on my ass from belt buckles. So I have a good deal of... To this day, I cannot wear a belt without like this kind of trigger response. When I used to work in an office, I would have slacks on, pleated slacks, and the shirt and tie, and the belt was always an issue for me. It really was. I mean, I can laugh about that kind of stuff now, but I got to be honest, the hardcore death, man, I'm never going to forget Iron Woman, the level 57 Iron Man hunter that died. Never, ever going to forget it. It was so crushing. I thought we were going to make it. That hurt pretty bad, dude. Yes, it did. Question number 6. Will you ever do a Kata Classic questing series and read all of the quests? I would love it. Yes, we will. And actually, I was just thinking about this. I think I mentioned a video. We are going to get back to doing that. I've been doing so many hardcore challenges lately where the Let's Play is about survival, and it's not really about like reading quests and things, and I haven't been doing that. But I do enjoy that quite a bit. All of the stuff, the early stuff on the channel, the first like year and a half, 2 years, well, basically everything before hardcore, even though I was doing hardcore before it came out, it was more of what you're talking about, where I would read all of the quests and kind of get into each zone. We definitely will do that at some point in the future. Absolutely. Question 7. Is pink pretty on Big E? Probably. I think anything's pretty on this. I don't know. Pink is something I just don't have. I don't think I've got anything that's pink. I don't know. You guys would have to be the judge of that. I guess it depends on what we're talking about. Pink pants? Probably not. I don't know. Will you ever do a classic era questing series and read all the quests? Okay, yeah. That goes with question 6. Absolutely, man. You guys know I am a classic fan. It's my favorite version of the game. I think it's the best version of the game. Yeah, I know it's not for everybody, but in my opinion, classic, it really brings a community together. There's no group finder, things like that. You're having to interact with people in the world. It's just a different experience. It's not like it is today, very much. But absolutely, man, I'm going to, I have no plans to stop playing Warcraft. I mean, I don't have any desire to play retail at all. The War Within, I don't care. That's something that I can watch somebody else play. and get into a little bit, but it's just not for me. But definitely, we'll do classic. Question number 9: should you take a bath in a river? What's up with the bath questions? What river in the United States would you want to bathe in? So I really had to think about this, and I had to look some of these up because I had a couple in mind. I mean, I'd never really thought about that before. I've swam in rivers before. I don't think I've ever actually bathed with some kind of soap or something. There is a river here runs through the Gila National Forest, which is to basically the northwest. It's a massive place. You guys can see it on the map. You'll see Silver City, really small old western town, and then the Gila Forest. There is a river up there that I've seen a little bit of, but this is too loud. Turn that down a little bit. It's probably been too loud. There's a river. I had to look it up. I knew it was in Oregon. It's called the Rogue River. It is gorgeous. And I remember seeing a picture of this river, and I can't remember the context, but somebody had written on there Rogue River. This was like a Polaroid. This is many, many years ago. And it was a friend of mine's or something, or we were roommates or something, and it was one of his friends. And like I said, I don't remember the context, but it made a big impact on me. So it's called the Rogue River in Oregon. I wouldn't mind taking a bath in that river, I guess. And question number 10. Are my questions as dumb as they sound? Because I think so. I don't think they were dumb at all. I thought they were creative. Stuff like this is a lot of fun for me, man. It really is. I appreciate you asking. I sure do. And like I said, if you guys have anything you'd like to know, just ask. I'm an open book. I think anybody who's been following the channel for a while knows that I tend to share probably way more than I should. Yes. But we're just about a little over 40 minutes here. I guess that's it for this one. Again, if you have replied to me after I've replied back to you and you didn't get a response back, especially if it was questions, probably because I didn't see it, because I don't get notifications about that. There is a way I think I can do it when I'm in my YouTube studio view. I can do a filter, but it's so kind of a pain in the butt to do it. And I end up seeing things that don't actually match the filter, but always leave a new comment. And I'm not saying that because I want people to leave a comment. I mean, I do, but I'm only saying that because especially if you're asking me a question, I won't see it unless it's a new comment. I know it's kind of crappy, but it just kind of is what it is for YouTube. Any other news? So we did finish up the Fright Night series last week, I believe. What a great game. Resident Evil, man. I've really enjoyed all 3 games that we've played. I really have. We played Resident Evil 4 Remake, fantastic. We played Resident Evil 7, loved it. And then we just got through playing Village. Did I say those right? I think so. People have been asking for me to play Resident Evil 2, the remake. I would love to, but I'm not giving the company $70 or $80 if you buy. It's just too much money. I don't like that they keep pushing the game prices up. I'm not a fan of it. So it's on my wish list. So when it goes on sale, it'll probably be $50 or $60, which is what the game probably should have been, right? So they're not losing anything. But I'm not sure what we're going to play next. I would love to experience all of the Resident Evil games, especially now that I kind of know the characters and I've got a little bit of history on it. And at the towards the end of Village, they gave me some insight into the origins of the story, which I basically know nothing about, like the Umbrella Corporation, Raccoon City, and things like that. I don't know anything about it, but they did give us some hints and things. I mean, obviously people who love the game and the franchise, they already know that stuff, but all of it was new to me. So it was very fun and interesting to kind of get into it, but I'm not sure what we're going to play next. Halloween's coming up this Thursday. Now I am making an announcement. I'm going to re-release something on the channel that some of you may or may not see, but you might not be interested in. It's called Witch Hill. it's a little short story. It's a short horror story that I wrote. And I tried to get creative and put like it has video with each episode. I think there's 7 episodes, and each episode is 15 minutes long, maybe something like that. Probably not even that much. Like I said, just a very short story. It's not the best. I wrote it in just kind of one go. I had an idea for it, but I didn't know. From sentence to sentence, I didn't know where it was going to go. I've written stories before, and that's how they've always been. Like, I didn't know how the thing was going to end literally until I typed it on the keyboard. I'm writing like I used a pencil, but that's how I've always been. So I'm going to put that up on the channel on Halloween. I might do a pumpkin carving on Halloween. I did that, I think, last year before. I did a little thing. We'll see if that happens again. But I am itching to play another horror game. Survival horror is my favorite genre of game. So we'll see what happens there. I might do another poll or something. I have a couple of games I've already bought that I haven't played. I've had them for a while. I've got the Mortuary's Assistant, which I kind of want to play. I've been gifted a handful of games by a lot of you guys, and hopefully we'll get around to those. Not all of them are like horror type of games, but if we can ever fit one on the channel, I'll make sure I give recognition if I can remember who gave it to me. But we'll get that going on. I have a feeling we're pretty close to the end of Moria. I think we're pretty much at the end game. We'll find out soon, I guess. And that'll be another open slot. What else is happening? I don't know. I think that's it. I think that's all I wanted to say. I've got another dentist appointment coming up. Well, not really. It's in mid-November. When is it? I think it's like the 12th or something. Got a big calendar over here. Can I open it? Yeah, it's actually on the 12th of November. So it's actually not that far off. It's a couple weeks out there. Yeah. Wow. Like just over 2 weeks. And I'm probably going to take the camera back with me. My little handheld camera. That was a gift from Bill Willis for my birthday. Thank you, Bill. Love you, man. I love the camera. It's so good. So I already recorded something back on the last week or something like that. I can't remember when it was. I did get the worst tooth pulled. But I had taken the camera with me, and I talked about this last time as well. I think I did an update on it or something too. I might put them together with that first video. We'll see. I don't feel comfortable about the first video because I don't like seeing myself in a mirror or on camera or anything. I've got this thing called body dysmorphia disorder or dysmorphic disorder, and I don't see myself as others do. So it's a little bit weird for me. But the video that I took in the car, I don't like the angle and stuff, and it's just weird. I don't know. But a lot of you said that you might be interested in seeing me suffering before I go into the office. So I might put that out. And I've still been thinking about Harry Potter and Red Dead Redemption, replaying the games. And I would just probably start new. And what I been wanting to do, I just don't have the time to do it, is play them offline, not record them. Just get back to where I think I remember that we were, and then just continue the series, because both of them ended abruptly because, as you may or may not know, if you were watching those series, my hard drive corrupted and I was saving the games locally and lost all of it. I lost all of the data on that drive. Fortunately, all of my YouTube channel stuff was on a secondary drive. I'm doing things differently now. I'm doing cloud saves and things like that. So hopefully that issue will never happen again. But I've been thinking about getting into it because we did have people really enjoying those series, and I was really enjoying them too. They're completely different. Harry Potter was a lot of fun. I don't know, as somebody who knows nothing about the Harry Potter universe, I was having a ball with that game. I really was. And Red Dead is just, it's got to be like one of the greatest games ever made. I mean, it is just unbelievable how much how many hours went into that game from those voice actors and character actors. A lot of the stuff was, they put the green dots on. There was that I forget what they call that kind of recording or game footage, but it was a lot of that. All of the programming, the writing, just incredible. What a good game. And I'm so sad that we lost that game when we did, but I just haven't really been able to find the time or the energy to get back into it, but hopefully we will someday. But I guess that's it, guys. Just a quick thing here. Hopefully I'm all caught up. Like I said, if you had left a comment and I missed it or you didn't get a reply, it's just because I didn't see it. I do my very best to reply to every single comment I get on this channel. And if I go more than 2 days without doing it, I'm not, I can have like 100 comments between videos. Sometimes it's a lot to keep up with, but it's something I try to do all the time. At the very least, I'll leave a heart, right? I'll put a heart on something, but I generally try to respond to every single person because I feel like that's important. You guys are taking the time to support me and watch my videos. And especially if you've left a comment, the least I can do is reply to you. And I try to do that as much as I can. But anyway, I guess that's it for me. I love you guys so much. Welcome to all the new viewers, all of you who have chosen to subscribe to the channel. Thank you so much. I appreciate you doing that. And of course, as always, a big giant thank you and a hug, big bear hug to my channel members who have gone above and beyond and chosen to support me for 1.5 years now. I can't believe it's been that long. I love you guys so much. You make a huge difference in my life. You do. Thank you. Take care. I'll see you in a future episode of something. Peace.